And good morning, sports fans, and welcome to the Karl DeMasi Sports Report right here on the Coach's Corner Sports Network. I was going to say right here on the Soundgarden stage, but I'm not. I'm doing this from a garage. That's right. I'm out with family doing this from a garage. You know, they're inside. Everybody's getting up and doing their thing. So I'm out here in the garage doing my weekly show, and it's not on the Soundgarden stage, but it's for September 23rd, 2023. It's the Karl DeMasi Sports Report right here on the Coach's Corner Sports Network. Hey, I'm glad you could join me. Got a great lineup. I mean, like every week, we start out talking about local sports, 3 steps in the door, high school, college, pro. Then my first guest is going to break down the Georgia Bulldogs with me, and he's a man that knows sports. He's been here longer than I have, and he's going to talk about the Atlanta Braves, and that's WTOC mid-morning show. Co-host Tim Guidera. They have a new studio at the Plant Riverside place, that new place downtown. You know where it is. I'm trying to remember where it is. So he'll be on first about 9:15. 9:30, this kid is all-purpose. He's had an unbelievable season so far. Senior from Richmond Hill High School. This week's Wetherington Chiropractic Clinic Athlete of the Week is Nick Bliss. Can't wait to talk to him. Met him at the Optum Orthopedic Media Day, and it was great speaking to him. And then at about 9:45, we're going to bring on the voice of Georgia high school football from the Georgia Public Broadcasting Sports Department. That's right, the guru, John Nelson, and then we'll wrap it up with 3 steps out the door. So I'm glad you could join me, whether it's for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and let's kick this off. Let's start out with 3 steps in the door. Of course, Friday Night Lights was big. We had some big rivalry games. So step 1 is all high school. The scoreboard from last night, let me pull it up. Okay. Give me, where did I put it? Hold it, gang. This is a new location for me, so I got everything all over the place. So let me find the scoreboard. There we go. Okay, here we go. We're going to run down the scoreboard, okay? In Class 7A, we have Richmond Hill, who we're going to be talking to, the Wetherington Chiropractic Clinic Athlete of the Week, Mr. Nick Bliss. But they took on Coffee County. They lost 21-0. Non-region game. Doesn't affect them. Region season starts next week. Georgia High School State Association Class 6A Region 2. The rivalry in the Ham. Effingham County 42, South Effingham 7. Big wow. South Effingham came in undefeated. Effingham came in 1-3. It's a rivalry. Throw it out the window. All right. And Georgia High School Class 5A Region 1, non-region. Bradwell takes care of McIntosh County Academy. Let me get it here. 35-14. Wayne County takes care of Jenkins 9-0. Oh, Jenkins, if they can only find an offense, that's a pretty good score right there. Then in 3A, Beach High School beats Groves 15-12. Calvary Day School, the big marquee game, beat Savannah Christian 42-21. Savannah Christian came out and jumped on. I mean, it went back and forth. It was a prize fight. They were throwing punch for punch, big play for big play. It was 21-21 at halftime. And then the Calvary defense showed up in the second half, and the offense showed up late in the third quarter. So they go on to win 42-21. They remain undefeated. Then we go to Liberty County, gets their first win of the season. They beat Johnson. Johnson. Liberty County 42-14. Savannah Country Day goes out to Long County. Big region win for them. They knock off Liberty County. Big win for Savannah Country Day. They go out to Long County. Okay. There's not much light in here, so I'm trying to do 20 things at once, but hopefully you're enjoying this. Savannah Country Day 17, Long County 14. In Class 2A, Windsor Forest hosted Vidalia, lost 29-6. Bryan County, first loss of the season. They go to Telfair County. They lose 16-7 on the road. Bethesda goes to Palmetto Christian, 48-0. First win for the regional win for the Blazers. They're 6-0. Then in Skeeza, St. Andrews defeats Memorial Day School 41-12. I mean, it's just a tough situation for Memorial Day School. They lost their starting quarterback the week before. A lot of turmoil up there in Colleton Prep, but you know what? They came to play last night. They gave it all they got, but St. Andrews just too strong, 41-12. So that's the scoreboard for high school scoreboard. We'll get into that later on. Don't forget, new classifications next year. That's right. For the 23, 24, 25 season, we'll have new classifications. Only six classifications. All right. So it's going to be pretty interesting how they figure this out. They got to go around and they got to check out, who's going to go where, and they got to do it by the enrollment. So It's going to be pretty interesting. Some key facts. All right. They eliminate Class 7A. All right. So they're going to have 6A through 1A. 1A is going to have two divisions again. So we still have 7 classes, but 1A is going to have 2 divisions. It's based on the enrollment count, which October 3rd is the final FTE count. The multiplier effect is still in effect, except if the students at your school have been there since 5th grade. So, I mean, how that's going to work out, we're going to see. Richmond Hill's on the bubble. Will they be 6A or 5A? We'll find out. There's also a chance a few more schools moving from side to side. Schools can appeal to go higher if they want. So, we'll find out if anybody wants to move up. You can't move down. You got to move up. Okay. So as we're in a high school, and the number one fan of the Karl DeMasi Sports Show, he's here every week. You got to comment. Do what my good friend Dennis Kessler does. Good morning, Coach DeMasi. I always have a great show. I appreciate that. Cavs beat Savannah Christian. Yep, 42-41. Great day. Closed early in the game. You have a wonderful day, sir. So do you. And keep it up. Okay. So that's Dennis Kessler. So if you have a comment to say, just throw it in there. Let's talk about it. All right. Softball and volleyball going strong. Volleyball rankings, Richmond Hill is ranked 10th in 7A. They're 18-6, 2-0 in area play. Class 3A, Savannah Christian is 18-4, 5-0 in area play. St. Vincent's is 18-7, ranked 9th. They're 6-0. That's a big game. I think it's coming up next week on the 29th. Okay, those 2 teams will take it on for who's going to be in first place. All right. In Class 2A, Savannah Arts Academy, 14-4, 4-0 in region play. Believe it or not, Class 1A, Savannah High Blue Jackets, Coach Johnson, has the volleyball team at 14-2 and 6-2, and they're ranked 5th in Class 1A. Woodville Tompkins is 8-5. They're ranked 9th. Softball, South Effingham, Class 6A, number 6 and number 7. They haven't played each other yet. Both have 1 loss in region play. Football, Benedictine didn't play last night, 5-0. Calvary came in 2nd. Savannah Christian came in 5th in Class 3A. We know the outcome of that. And Bryan County was 10th in Class A, Division 2, okay? And they lost their first game last night, so they're 4-1. All right, let's see. We got 9:08. I got still time to go here. College. Last night, Savannah State Volleyball was at Albany State. They took on Lane College, Central State, and Spring Hill. And today, they'll play Kentucky State at noon and Lemoyne at 4. 5 games for the Lady Tigers on the volleyball court. They're 5-2, 2-2 in SEAC coming into today and yesterday. So we'll see what happens with that. Football, Savannah State came back, defeated Clark Atlanta 28-21. It was sort of like a revenge game because Clark Atlanta beat Savannah State last year. They had to pull it out late in the 4th quarter. Today they're home. Today they're considered home, but they're at Glenn County Stadium in the HBCU Classic down there in Glenn Academy Stadium. They're taking on Albany State, okay? So that's at 3 o'clock. Georgia Tech lost last week to Ole Miss. They'll take on Wake Forest today at 6:30 on the road. Georgia, of course, beat South Carolina 28-14 last week. They're home 7:30. They're taking on the University of Alabama Birmingham. Another clunker game, blowout game. I don't know why they schedule these games. I'll talk to my man next with our next guest because it really all right. Then Georgia Southern went to Wisconsin and lost 35-14. They're at Ball State in Indiana at 2 p.m. Georgia State, undefeated. Thursday night, they beat Coastal Carolina, the Chanticleers, 41-25. They're undefeated. They take on Troy State next week at 7 o'clock. Georgia State's pretty good in that Sun Belt Conference, so we'll see how they match up. All right, SCAD. Can't forget about the Lady SCAD Bees soccer team, 7-0. They knocked off the 6th-ranked team in NAIA the other night, 3-1. They're undefeated. They'll play home today at 11 o'clock. The men are 2-2-2, 1-1-1 in the Sun Conference. They defeated Weber on Wednesday. Then they lost to Kaiser on Tuesday. They beat – let me take this back. I'm rushing. Last Saturday, they beat Weber International 2-0, and they lost to Kaiser on Thursday 4-0. They're playing at home. They're at Ave Maria in Ave Maria, Florida. I didn't even know that, at 1 p.m. All right, step 3, professionals. I got 2-minute drill right here. Braves won again. Okay, they beat the Marlins 9-6, but Ronald Acuna is off the charts. Leadoff home run, 40 home run, over 60 stolen bases. He's got his own club now, the 40-60 club. He might even have the 40-70 club at the end of the season. But Braves pitching, Charlie Morton now is complaining about problem with his finger. Max Fried's on the 15-day injured list because of a blister. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Falcons defeated Green Bay last week, 25-24. Okay. Young Hoku, Georgia Southern legend, kicked the field goal to win the game. I mean, you got to be excited. They're playing in Detroit. They have an exciting rookie in Bijan Robinson. He rushed for 124 yards on 19 carries and hauled in 4 catches for another 48 yards. I mean, and you got Ritter at quarterback. Young group having a lot of fun. Golf, Brian Harmon still waiting for the Ryder Cup. That's next week. Okay, the 29th through October 1st. Tim O'Neill is at the Pure Insurance Championships Pebble Beach tournament for the PGA Champions Tour. Last week, he finished at the Stanford International at tied 58 at 1 over. Savannah Bananas are over. The Party Animals won it. They had the last game in Cooperstown, New York. Whoever won it was declared the Banana World Tour champion, and the Party Animals won it. They won 34 out of 69 games. They were 34, 33, and 2. It's not the Harlem Globetrotters, people. Might have some rules changed, but I'm telling you right, these kids can play baseball. All right? October 5th, they're going to have a draft. They're drafting who and where they're going next year. That's right. So put 3 cities in there: New York, Savannah, Atlanta. Whoever gets pulled out first, that's where they're going. Whoever gets pulled out second, that's where they're going. I don't know how many teams applied to be in this draft, but it's going to be crazy. October 5th at Grayson Stadium. Clovers, they're out in Los Angeles tomorrow against the LA Force. They're 2-11-5. 2 wins, 11 losses, and 5 draws. They're in last place in that division. Savannah Falcons Football Club needs your help. Go to their Facebook page. They're looking for coaches. They're looking for office help. And don't forget, in the Sound Garden tonight, we have the Music Fest. Friends of Disabled Adults and Children, put on by the Alzheimer's Music Fest, another charity event at Coach's Corner by John Henderson. We got Cracker. We got Anne-Marie Perry. We got Stuart and Marshall. We got Thomas Claxton. They're all going to be there tonight. Check it out. It's to help a good cause. Go get your tickets at Eventbrite. And then October 6th, Night Train, the Guns N' Roses tribute band. All right, give me 3 minutes. Got to thank the people who sponsor the show, and we'll be back talking Braves baseball, Bulldog football with the man himself from Morning Break Show on WTOC, Tim Guidera. You're watching the Karl DeMasi Sports Report right here on the Coach's Corner Sports Network. All the time. That's Coach's Corner in Thunderbolt, Georgia, because Coach's Corner has been voted the best in Savannah for over 20 years running. It's no wonder why. There's always sports, live music in the Sound Garden, and delicious and abundance of pub food. No matter what the season, there's always a reason to check out Coach's Corner. Pick your favorite sport, pick your favorite team, and pick your favorite TV, because Coach's is your place to be. Coach's Corner has been Savannah strong since 1991 and is always open for dining service for lunch and dinner. Remember, Coach's Corner still has takeout service. Join John Henderson and the crew for the best burgers, wings, and now pizza too. You can place your order by calling Coach's Corner at 912-352-2933. That's right, remember that number, 912-352-2933. So make your next pit stop at Coach's Corner. And as always, make it a night to remember at Coach's. At Calvary Day School, we want our students to be fully equipped and on the cutting edge of academics, making a difference in our world. Your child will grow academically, physically, socially, and spiritually. At Calvary, it is so good to say we are one school with one mission and one vision: faith, academics, excellence, and building champions through Christ. Calvary Day School would consider it a privilege to meet with your family personally. Call Philip Lee, Director of Admissions, at 351-2299. That's 351-2299.
For over half a century, when it comes to uniforms, sporting goods, or trophies, Thompson's got you covered. From cleats to caps and best prices on the biggest brands, Under Armour, Adidas, and more. From baseball to soccer, volleyball to softball, and yes, football too. Every season starts at Thompson Sports Shop. From cutting it equipped at Thompson Sports Shop's new location, 6606 Abercorn Street, Suite 102 in Savannah. Open Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and seasonal on Saturdays. At locally owned Thompson Sporting Goods and Trophies, Come see where everyone is a winner.
You still want some real New York Italian food? Bada bing, bada boom. Rocky's New York Deli and Italian Catering is open at 7630 Skidaway Road, Tuesday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., serving breakfast and lunch right here in Savannah, Georgia. Rocky's New York Deli and Italian Catering has been serving the public for over 3 years. Now, if you want Rocky's New York Deli and Italian Catering goods delivered to your door, go online to SavannahTakeout.com or DoorDash.com, or just pick up the phone and call 912-354-2914. That's right, 912-354-2914. Kabish, and remember, we ain't New York style. We are New York at Rocky's New York Deli and Italian.
Weatherington Chiropractic Clinic. Your back hurts, another body part hurts all the time. It makes you mad. The pain drives you crazy. You just want to pick something up and throw it across the room. If you can. At the Weatherton Chiropractic Clinic, you get complete chiropractic care and pain relief to help you move better, have a less painful life, and of course, achieve a healthier lifestyle. The Weatherton Chiropractic Clinic is now located at 2 locations in Savannah, Georgia, at 329 Eisenhower Drive and in Pooler at 114 Canal Street, Suite 603. So visit Dr. Bart Weatherington at the Weatherington Chiropractic Clinic for all your chiropractic needs.
And good morning, Savannah and the Low Country and the Coastal Empire, wherever you may be. It's the Karl DeMasi Sports Report right here on the Coach's Corner Sports Network. Don't forget, we got 4 shows on the Coach's Corner Sports Network. Wednesday night, we have Rubbin' and Grubbin' with the Atlanta man, Brandon Bain, and the OG, the producer, Lawrence Bennett, 6 to 7. Then on Saturdays, yours truly, from 9 to about 10:15. That's Karl DeMasi Sports Report. Then in April, the first week of April, when we have the Masters, the Herb Brothers go for 5 straight days, once a year, doing the 19th hole. Check it out on YouTube. And one podcast, the Who's on First Base baseball podcast with the coach, Karl DeMasi, and, of course, Kyle Lawson. All right, here's where we bring the guest on. Here's where they help me break down local sports. And there's a big following for the Georgia Bulldogs and the Atlanta Braves here. And this guy's been here longer than me. He knows what he's doing. WTOC mid-morning break show host. And now he's got a new crib down there on Plant Riverside. So we got to find out about that. Joining me on the Coach's Corner hot seat is a good buddy of mine, another New Yorker, but we're Southern Yankees. We're not going home. And that's Tim Guidera. Hey, Tim, how's it going?
Hey, Carl, it's great. How are you doing today?
Hey, I never thought I would be hanging out in a garage doing my show.
It looked a little different this morning. I didn't know where you were. So you're in your garage?
Yeah, I'm with family. We got a family animal, so I can't be in the house because it's too loud. I couldn't go to Coach's Corner, so I got put out in the garage. The lighting's a little dull, but there's nothing I can do. I don't smell the fryer going yet, so I got to get used to this. So once again, it's always a pleasure. So tell me about this new crib you guys got there for your show.
It is great, Carl. We have the show from 9 to 10 every day, and we've got a brand new studio inside Planned Riverside District. The Atlantic Building, which is the one that includes District Live, their concert venue. We're on the 3rd floor with a huge picture window behind us, all glass, looking out straight down the Savannah River. It is a striking view. And I tell you what, every morning we are able to bring the city of Savannah into people's living rooms. We are able to go into the city of Savannah. We utilize the whole space. We go downstairs, outside. We have guests out there. We did an entire live outside show the 3rd day that we were there. It was a tailgate theme. We had the Savannah State cheerleaders, pep band, all kinds of stuff there. We had people grilling. It's been very popular. People have been reacting to it, but really, mostly it allows us to showcase our show and showcase the city in a brand new way.
Did they make you your own little special kitchen?
No, the kitchen's still back at the WTOC studio. So we do a couple of live segments there back and forth remotely. But what we're becoming to do more and more often is record our cooking segments. Still got the cooking segments, a very big part of morning break, the cooking segments. So we'll always have those, but we're recording more of those. In fact, I'm going to be recording one with Bill from Rockies here very shortly to promote his San Gennaro festival that he's got coming up in October.
Oh, you don't include the guy that makes the Zeppelis. I mean, I'm going to be out there in the heat, sweating my butt off with my big pot with my oil and my dough, and nobody invites me to the show. I got it.
You are more than welcome to come and make some Zeppelis when we go out there.
I know. You and I missed that. So, but it's always a lot of fun doing that with Bill. Bill's a good guy. 4 years, Rocky's New York Deli and Italian Catering. You want New York, because it is New York. It ain't New York. It is New York. So go check it out.
Yeah, I introduced my kids to it this summer. They're hooked. They try to get there for lunch every time they're in from school.
Oh, it's unbelievable. I'm trying to find out. It's October 16th, right?
Yeah, actually, the San Gennaro in New York is going on now.
It's going on right now.
People posting about it last night on social media. But yeah, the one out at Rockies is going to be middle of October. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I think it's October 16th. I got to remember. I got to do my show, and then I got to go cook. I don't know. So, but anyway, I want to keep it short and sweet because I know you got things to do. I got guests coming in. All right. You're the man. You're going up there tonight to watch UAB, Georgia Bulldogs. I mean, what are the storylines so far? What are the expectations of this team? You know, everybody's talking about a three-peat, but this is a different team, isn't it, Tim?
It's a very different team, and I think we've seen that in the first 3 weeks of the season. What we're seeing is a team that lost 25 guys to the NFL draft over the last 2 years. No other program has taken a hit like that, and maybe in the last decade. So, obviously, guys are learning new roles. You're changing the quarterback, which is a very big factor. But also, let's face it, the schedule has not been the most difficult either. So I don't think that Georgia is running its complete offense yet. I don't think that they have had a game, even trailing South Carolina by 2 scores at halftime. I still think they were a little bit conservative in the second half once they got the lead again. But it's going to take some time. I mean, Georgia right now is not the best team in the country. They rank number 1, but they are not the best team in the country. It's going to come down to for this team is if Kirby Smart can see this team improve week to week between now and January the way he did last year. The first year, the first national championship they won, that team was the best team in the country from day one on. Last year, they matured. They also had some slow weeks during the season. People forget that. People, because they won the national championship by such a huge margin last year, people think that that's how they played every week. Last year's team took a little time to get going as well. Not as much as this year's team, but I don't think there's any reason for Georgia fans to panic yet, but it's certainly something to kind of consider. The running game has not looked anything close to what you expect a Georgia running game to look like. This deep wide receiver room that we've been hearing about all season has really not done anything yet. And Carson Beck has been very conservative. He's been very quick to check down. I think he's more interested in protecting the ball than making the big play, which is probably what Kirby Smart wants. This team cannot afford to turn the ball over. This team has less of a margin of victory than any Georgia team in the last several years. So I think that's why they're playing this conservative style. Maybe when they go to Auburn, maybe when they go to Tennessee, we'll see that change a little bit. But for now, there's no reason to because the teams they're playing can't beat them. And there's no reason to go outside the box and show anything too soon.
Yeah, you already beat me to the question. Carson Beck versus the mailman, wherever he may be now. Okay, I mean, he definitely is conservative. He's not going to be, he's not going to be Stetson Bennett. He's not going to try and make things happen. And I think that's holding him back. Plus, I know a lot of people didn't like him when we see it the first time. Mike Bobo's back as the offense coordinator, which he's catching a lot of heat too.
He is, but again, I think that goes back to the opponents that they've been playing. Everybody complained about the screen passes when he was here the last time. We've seen a lot of screen passes the first 3 weeks. But again, it's because they are just playing a very vanilla offense against inferior competition. I mean, South Carolina last week could have beaten Georgia. They shouldn't have been in that game at halftime. Right. Georgia should have come out and rolled them, but they were. So I think Bobo will expand the playbook a little bit more. Carson Beck, I think what we're seeing is a guy who by nature is more conservative than Stetson Bennett. But what we're missing is the run threat that Stetson gave you last year. He could break off a 10-yard run on any play. It doesn't look like Carson Beck is willing to do that. And also the instincts of Stetson Bennett. Carson Beck has missed an open receiver, an uncovered receiver deep in every game so far. That can't continue.
All right, before we get to the Braves, my last college question. What is it with whether it's Georgia, whether it's Ohio State, whether it's Oregon, who played Portland State and beat them 81-0? Tim, I'm getting tired of these non-conference games that mean nothing, and it's not exciting. I mean, and you're going to take this into consideration on who makes the college football playoffs. I mean, it's ridiculous that they play teams like this not one time, but 2 or 3 times in a season. We got to do something about this because, I mean, I don't even watch Georgia when they're playing teams like that. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, the flip side to that argument is if you play an SEC schedule, you really don't need to go scheduling a lot of difficult non-conference games because your strength of schedule should be built intact. Now, the East is down a little bit this year, so that doesn't really support Georgia's argument. But, it's almost as if there's a preseason in college football now. I mean, Georgia, it doesn't even feel as if the Georgia season has started yet.
No. I mean, it's not fun to watch either.
It's not. I mean, it's the atmosphere of college football is great, which is why tonight in Athens will be fantastic.
Oh, it'll be packed
nighttime kickoff. You'll have all the energy in the stadium. You'll have the team running on, being introduced as the two-time defending national champion. It'll be great for about 10 minutes. And then once the second drive is over, people are going to start wondering what they're doing after the game.
I know you got kids going there. My daughter went there. I went to like 5 or 6 games, and I always got these types of games. 59-0, 46-3. I mean, I did get a good one. And I know it's Mark Richt, but when Missouri upset Georgia in Athens, that was a great game, and that was exciting. And I thought, okay, this is going to be a clunker game, but it wasn't. Missouri really played off the charts.
I was at that game, and I might look back on it and say I made the mistake of bringing Syria Sandlin with me, a Missouri grad. That made the ride home from Athens a little bit longer.
And then I got to be honest with you. I know a lot of people felt that he couldn't get this team over the hump, Mark Richt. But I'm telling you, I was in the coaches section because I had the coaches pass. I'm walking in under the tunnel where they come in, and he tapped me and he says, and he didn't know me from a hole in the wall. He knew I was in the coach. Said, "Coach, don't blame the kids. This one's all on me." So I mean, just a class man, and I'll never forget that.
Yeah, Mark Richt was fantastic. I agree with you that he did everything he could have done with that program, but there's really no denying that Kirby has taken it to another level. In fact, if he wins today, he sets the record for best record through 100 games, passing Bear Bryant, Nick Saban, Lou Holtz, some giants in the history of football.
Wow. All right, you're watching the Karl DeMasi Sports Report right here on the Coach's Corner Sports Network. I'm talking to Tim Guidera, mid-morning show.
What morning break?
Mid-morning. I'm sorry. You know what? You changed the name of your shows like I changed my shorts, okay?
We changed the name a couple years ago, but it's Morning Break, 9 to 10, WTOC. And as I said, now it's down to Plant Riverside District.
So I'll get it straight. I even texted him last night. I still can't remember it. All right. So baseball, quickly. Time's always coming up. My guest isn't in the studio yet, but the Braves, I mean, they clinch early, but now we got all these pitching woes coming. Yeah. I mean, Ronald Acuna is off the charts. I mean, one of the best players in baseball, and then we can talk about, what's going on with him and Mookie Betts. But I'm telling you right now, I'm getting worried here. You got Charlie Morton now with something going on with a finger. You got Max Fried with a blister that keeps on reoccurring. So what do you got? Spencer Strider? I mean, is that all we got? Elder, he's hit or miss. So, I mean, it's crazy. What are your feelings? We got, 2 weeks left and then going into the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, those happened this week. That's pretty scary for the Braves. I mean, this has been really the concern all year long is that they didn't have a dip, and it's not the best team during the season in baseball. It's the team that's best going into October. And if the Braves have played their best baseball already, there could be a little bit of trouble coming up. I still think they're by far and away the World Series favorite, but nobody stays hot for 180 games, 162 during the season, and then potentially another 18 in the postseason. If their slump is coming now, there could be some trouble. If their injuries are coming now, because they've also been largely healthy all year long, it could be some trouble. But they are so deep, they are so good that I still think they are a level above everybody else.
All right, so now this is my last question with baseball. In terms of player performance, okay, we have Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman out there in L.A. vying for that MVP role. Then you come to the Braves. You got, of course, Ronald Acuna, but I don't think Matt Olson gets any respect. Yeah. What do you think?
I mean, Olson's at 53 home runs at this point?
Yep.
52? Yeah. To me, Acuna is the hands-down MVP of the National League. But those other guys have had great seasons. And you're right, Matt Olson never gets mentioned, with some of the other great players on the Braves. But that just shows how deep this team is. You can talk about 4 or 5 other players on that team before you get to Matt Olson because there's so many that lineup is deep. The starting rotation can be deep when they're all healthy. So I think if Olson were on a different team where he was the only guy, we'd be hearing more about him. You play with Ronald Acuna, there's not a whole lot of other conversation to go around because everybody talks about that guy.
All right, last question. Okay, my guest just got in. This is my last question. Does Ohtani deserve the MVP, even though and he's not playing the last 25, 30 games?
I think so. I mean, the baseball season was completely about Ohtani for the first 3 months. I don't think you can overlook that. And it's an injury that has taken him out over the last month. So it's not as if he all of a sudden just stopped performing. Yeah, he got hurt. He couldn't play anymore. And really, what's the alternative in the American League? I mean, if there's nobody else pushing him, I think had Ohtani not played a game after the All-Star break, he'd still be the MVP.
All right. Last question. You think the Falcons are for real?
No, but I always tend to think the Falcons are not for real. But I tell you what, they are proving me wrong because they are pretty good. They're another team that is they used to play down to their competition. Now they're playing a little bit better than their competition every week.
Oh, it's fun to watch. All right, Tim. So enjoy Rocky's New York Deli. Enjoy the game tonight. And once again, I appreciate you coming on. And I think the Bulldogs will get the car right on track. It's just going to take them playing a little more tougher competition. And hey, now that Florida knocks off Tennessee, it makes it a little more fun.
Yeah, well, tonight should take care of itself. Next week at Auburn, Carson Beck's first game on the road. A lot of these young players' first game on the road in the SEC against an Auburn team that is getting better. And if they can win at Texas A&M today, man, that's going to be a heck of a game. Carl, thanks so much. Great to see you.
Hey, don't forget, come get some Zapleys for the good cause when we do it.
Well, you come join Bill and I and cook some Zapleys when I'm there.
I'll talk to you later.
All right, buddy.
Bye.
See ya.
I mean, the man knows his stuff. The man's been around sports. I know he right now, he's doing the morning break show at Plant Riverside. They upped his crib. I mean, it's a great show. I mean, when I was laid up with my knee, I watched it every morning. He's got a lot of fun, a lot of good guests. And, I know I'm joking, but he has a lot of good food coming on there too. So once again, Tim Guidera, always appreciate him coming on, never turns me down. And the man has, you want to talk to a guy that knows sports, knows a lot about sports in Savannah, you got to talk to Tim Guidera. So he used to be a sports writer for Savannah Morning News. Then he went and did TV. All right, this next guest, phenomenal season. I know last night was a tough one. They lost 21-0 to Coffee County. But I'm telling you, what this kid has done on the football field, no matter where he is, on offense, on defense, on special teams, he's a threat to score. And that's, of course, this week's Wetherington Chiropractic Clinic after the week. Nick Bliss waiting in the wings. He'll be on in 3 minutes. You're watching the Karl DeMasi Sports Report right here on the Coach's Corner Network, not on SoundGarden stage, in a garage. All the time. That's Coach's Corner in Thunderbolt, Georgia, because Coach's Corner has been voted the best in Savannah for over 20 years running. It's no wonder why. There's always sports, live music in the Soundgarden, and delicious and abundance of pub food. No matter what the season, there's always a reason to check out Coach's Corner. Pick your favorite sport, pick your favorite team, and pick your favorite TV, because Coach's is your place to be. Coach's Corner has been Savannah strong since 1991, is always open for dine-in service for lunch and dinner. Remember, Coach's Corner still has takeout service. Join John Henderson and the crew for the best burgers, wings, and now pizza too. You can place your order by calling Coach's Corner at 912-352-2933. That's right, remember that number, 912-352-2933. So make your next pit stop at Coach's Corner. And as always, make it a night to remember at Coach's. At Calvary Day School, we want our students to be fully equipped and on the cutting edge of academics, making a difference in our world. Your child will grow academically, physically, socially, and spiritually. At Calvary, it is so good to say we are one school with one mission and one vision: faith, academics, excellence, and building champions through Christ. Calvary Day School, we consider it a privilege to meet with your family personally. Call Philip Lee, Director of Admissions, at 351-2299. That's 351-2299.
For over half a century, it comes in uniforms, sporting goods, or trophies, Thompson's got you covered. From cleats to caps and best prices on the biggest brands, Under Armour, Adidas, and more. From baseball to soccer, volleyball to softball, and yes, football too. Every season starts at Thompson Sports Shop. They're cutting it equipped at Thompson Sports Shop's new location, 6606 Abercorn Street, Suite 102 in Savannah. Open Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and seasonal on Saturdays. At locally owned Thompson Sporting Goods and Trophies, come see where everyone is a winner.
You still want some real New York Italian food? Bada bing, bada boom. Rocky's New York Deli and Italian Catering is open at 7630 Skidaway Road, Tuesday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., serving breakfast and lunch right here in Savannah, Georgia. Rocky's New York Deli and Italian Catering has been serving the public for over 3 years. Now, if you want Rocky's New York Deli and Italian Catering goods delivered to your door, go online to SavannahTakeout.com or DoorDash.com, or just pick up the phone and call 912-354-2914. That's right, 912-354-2914. Kabish, and remember, we ain't New York style. We are New York at Rocky's New York Deli and Italian
Weatherington Chiropractic Clinic. Your back hurts, another body part hurts all the time. It makes you mad. The pain drives you crazy. You just want to pick something up and throw it across the room. If you can, at the Weatherton Chiropractic Clinic, you get complete chiropractic care and pain relief to help you move better, have a less painful life, and of course, achieve a healthier lifestyle. The Weatherton Chiropractic Clinic is now located at 2 locations in Savannah, Georgia, at 329 Eisenhower Drive and in Pooler at 114 Canal Street, Suite 603. So visit Dr. Bart Weatherington at the Weatherington Chiropractic Clinic for all your chiropractic needs.
And welcome back to the Karl DeMasi Sports Report on the Coach's Corner Sports Network. In a garage, doing my show. Couldn't get the Coach's Corner today. I got family around. Had to get out of the house because, you know what, with people running all over the place, I wasn't just going to be able to do my show quietly. And I didn't want to do a best of. Okay, I'm tired of doing best of because that takes more work. This, I just hop on, start talking to the guests. It's a lot of fun. And this is always fun. The Weatherton Chiropractic Clinic Athlete of the Week. This is what it's all about. If you have a Weatherton Chiropractic Clinic Athlete of the Week, please, right there, text me. Give me an email. I want to get these kids on because these kids are having phenomenal seasons. They're doing phenomenal things in games. Check out this next kid from Richmond Hill. All right, week 1, he had 3 touchdowns, an 86-yard kickoff return, 55-yard punt block, and a 4-yard run in a win over FEN County. I mean, unbelievable. Week 2 gets a very tough Ware County team. He had 81 all-purpose yards. He was the leading rusher, leading receiver. Tough loss. Okay, then they come back against Jenkins. He has 157 all-purpose yards, scores 3 touchdowns in a win over Jenkins. Then he plays Creekside out of Florida in the Florida-Georgia Challenge on week 4. 5 catches, 90 yards, 1 TD, 12 rushes, 90 yards, 1 TD, all-purpose yards, 130. Okay, and then last week against New Hampstead, all right, he just keeps on going. The kid just keeps on going and doesn't stop. He's like the Energized Bunny. You can't stop this kid. He had 87 all-purpose yards on the night, 18-yard scoring catch and run for 3 touchdowns. I mean, I got probably something wrong there, but I'm telling you what, he's all-world. Last night was tough against Coffee County. I didn't check the stats. They send me the stats every night, but, you know, being with family, I had a lot of things going on last night. But joining me now on the Coach's Corner hot seat, this week's Weatherington Chiropractic Clinic Athlete Week from Richmond Hill High School, Nick Bliss. What's up, Nick?
How's it going?
Hey, I'm having a lot of fun talking local sports, and I know last night was a tough one. You played a very good Coffee County team. You lost 21-0, but I'm just telling you, what you're doing this season is unbelievable. I mean, hey, like Matt Lasat's, build a hill, and you got to have the leaders. You're one of those leaders there, buddy.
Yes, sir. Thank you. It's been a lot of fun this year.
It has to be a lot of fun. You already got 4 wins, more than you had last year. I know the region is tough. You're coming into that. I think you start next week or the week after.
So we have a bye week this week, and we'll start the week after at Camden.
Right. So, well, at least you're staying home this time. You're not going to Lowndes and Valdosta back-to-back, right?
Yeah,
so
that was rough.
It sounds like football's in your family. So I forgot to put this on my list, but you had to start somewhere. Where'd you start playing football, and who's better, you or your brother?
So I started when I was like 6 years old. We used to live in Atlanta, Georgia, and my brother picked up football first. And every weekend we'd be driving to his little rec league games, and you know, just watching him play made me want to go out there because little brothers always want to follow what their big brothers are doing. So, you know, eventually I got into the sport too, and then I just fell in love with it from there and been playing ever since. But
so if we had to go 1-on-1, who's going to win?
You know, I think it would be competitive, but he's been training with them college kids now, so he's got a lot of experience under his belt. But yeah, I think it could go back and forth.
All right, you've had an impressive season so far, 14 touchdowns. I mean, it ranked second in state before last night's game. What do you attribute your success to this year so far?
Definitely all my teammates and coaches. I mean, our O-line has been blocking everything up perfectly, and I'm just hitting the holes hard. And we got our quarterback who can launch the ball and do it accurately too. And the running backs ahead of me, they're driving it down the field every single play, and I'm just punching it in for them at the end.
Wow. You talked about offensively, okay, but you've scored so many different ways, 4 different ways. I mean, rushing, receiving, kickoff return, block punt. Which one was the most memorable for Nick Bliss so far this season? Because you still got 5 games to go.
Yeah, I would definitely have to say the kick return because it was first game of the season, first play of the season. So it was just a great way to, start off senior year.
I mean, Matt Lazat's doing a great job over there. I mean, last year you played with Ty Goldrick, Zion Gilliard, Rayvon Grant, all who are playing college football now. How has your role changed on the team now that they're gone?
Well, I think they were all great players, and it's, hard coming back from like losing so many seniors, but we've done a great job of just picking right up where we left off. And I mean, we didn't skip a beat all spring, all summer. We were working hard. We knew what our goals were this year. We had a rough year last year, so we definitely didn't want a repeat of that. And I think everybody really took control of the situation, and they've been working their butt off.
All right. So I was joking with you going against your brother, but your brother's been outstanding. He was outstanding there. He's at Mercer now, right?
Yes, sir.
So has he given you any advice, given you any insight on what you need to do to make it that level like he has?
Yeah, he definitely has. I send in my film every single night. I was sending it throughout spring and throughout summer, just asking, what do you think I can do on this route to get open? What am I supposed to do here? What are good drills to do? How can I get faster? The questions kept coming, and he was there to answer every single one, give me advice. And so now that we're in the season, he's trying to help me get noticed by some colleges. But yeah, he's definitely been a big part of just my whole high school career.
Has he taught you any techniques on how to, get off the line when they're playing press coverage, or how to beat somebody when you're coming at them?
Yeah. We would go to the fields and line up one-on-one like you were talking about. And I mean, if I was doing something wrong, he would correct me, and then we would go back at it, and then I would win that rep, and then I would say what I'm seeing, and then so it was a mutual relationship. We really helped each other, I think.
Well, so far you're having a great year. If you're tuning in, you're watching the Karl DeMasi Sports Report on the internet, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. I'm talking to the Weatherton Chiropractic Clinic Athlete Week Senior. I don't know what position I'm going to give him, but he's all-purpose everything. Nick Bliss on the football field for the Wildcats. So, I mean, coming into the season, did you set any goals? Like reading Mike Brown's article that he wrote on you was great the other day. Mike Brown, longtime newspaper sports reporter. I didn't know that Jalen Rouse and Nick Fitzgerald hold a record for 21 touchdowns in the season. You're 14. You have any goals? Beat that record, or any other goals you had for yourself for this season?
Well, I've already passed some of my own personal goals that I wanted this season, but as for the total touchdowns leader, I mean, it would be great, obviously. I think everybody wants that. That's a great stat to put on your Twitter or whatever, but at the end of the day, we just want to win. I don't care if I'm scoring, if my quarterback's scoring, or if it's my left guard. As long as we're winning, that's all that matters.
Hey, pretty impressive. That's a team player. When I used to coach football, I would love to have 40 of you guys out there just playing for the team. It's the name on the front of the jersey, not the name on the back, but people don't realize that. But that's another story. So you just talked about it, the team. You're 4-2 now. You got 4 games left. You already beat last year's win total. You win one week, you lose next week, but you're playing very stiff competition. And from what I understand, it's probably one of the toughest, if not the toughest schedules in the state of Georgia. So what's the season been like for you as far as that going on?
Well, our coaches let us know from the very start. The second the schedule is released for the season, they tell us, we want you guys to play this competition because our region isn't any joke. So if we're preparing with 2A schools who haven't won a game in 3 years, then we're not truly preparing ourselves for the region play that we're going to have to go against. So that's why we get these teams, these state-winning teams like Ware County, Coffee County, and unfortunately, they've been rough games, but we learn a lot from it, and I think we've gotten so much better from them.
Nice. Now, football players, athletes, and I know I didn't put on this on my list, but I always got to ask this. Any superstitions for Nick Bliss before he goes into the game? You got to wear the same socks, put them on the same way. You got to eat certain food the pregame. You got to listen to certain music. Any superstitions for you?
I do wear the same underwear every game day. But yeah, I really just, we go to our team meetings right after school, and then as soon as those are over, I'm putting my headphones on and locking in, and then we get out on the field, and it's all, it's about having fun at the end of the day. So I try to keep that in mind, and it keeps me from getting too nervous or like getting in my own head for the game.
Nice. How do you motivate yourselves? How do you guys get up for the games? How do you guys share, getting ready for the game?
Well, I think a lot of that is just we're a really close family. We have a huge team, so when you get those big teams, it's hard to be that close. But for us, it's like we really do want to do it for one another. I mean, we get put in racks for weightlifting every single morning, and we're pushing each other, telling each other, one more rep, one more rep. Then we get on the field, and it's one more rep, one more rep. So I think we just push each other a lot because we want to watch each other succeed. So I think that's what it is.
Now, you talked about your brother helping you out with your technique, but let's talk about your family in general. How has your family played a role in shaping you academically and athletically as far as school goes?
Yeah, so my brother was helping me out on the field every day for sure. But like something like last year or sophomore year when I was playing, I wasn't really getting the amount of touches during games that I was wishing that I could get, because I was still a very hard worker those 2 years, and I was, it might have been selfish, but I felt like I deserved more. And so every day, after a game, if I wasn't getting the ball, I would, go talk to my dad, and he really helped me just clear my head and really put my focus where it needed to be. So I think him helping me with my headspace really kept me in the game, and it kept me working hard every day. And that was a big part of it.
Nice. All right. Your brother's at Mercer. Any college offers, anything you want to do, any special colleges you want to go to, you looking at?
Yeah, so I got my first one last week, recently, first Division I offer from Marist University.
Nice.
And that was huge. It was, it helps you regain confidence when you feel like it's all paying off. So that was nice. But, for my future, really, I want to see where things go from here and see any other colleges that might pop out. But, I mean, again, it's just head down. I'm worried about the season right now, and then recruiting can come after that. But
all right, now let's go to the academic side. Any specific area interest you? Accounting, something, teacher, doctor, any profession you're looking at?
I think I definitely want to stay into the sports medicine field, just because
Nice.
I like to be active, and I like to move stuff and work with people. And so I want to stay in that kind of field, be around sports my whole life. They've been a big impact on me already, so I don't want to leave that from just after high school.
All right, last question. We talked about, Rouse, Fitzgerald, your brother, Goldrick, Gilliard, Grant. I mean, people are looking up to you at Richmond Hill High School and the middle schools right there. So as you approach the last 4 games, or you're going to, go be out there and be on the field, you want to leave a legacy, okay? So what advice would you give to get a younger player to do what you're doing and work as hard as you've worked in your career?
Well, I think a lot of people see high school as like that's 4 long years that you have to be successful, but really, I mean, it flies by quicker than you can think. So if I had to give them advice, it would just be start now. Don't wait to do the extra stuff off the field when you're a senior or when you're a junior. It needs to start as soon as you get there, and you need to be trying to get on the field the second you're there, whether you have to switch a position around or, make some phone calls with your coaches and see what they like best about you. But just find a way to help the team, find a way to get yourself on the field, and you got to work for it. It doesn't just come to you with time.
Well, Nick, you're having an unbelievable year. Keep it up. And I know you got 4 big games coming up in that black and blue, probably the toughest region in the state of Georgia, in that region 7A and in that class 7A region 1, 2, or 3, whatever it may be. But you know what I'm talking about. Keep it up. Love watching what you're doing, and hopefully I get a chance to see what you're doing before the end of the season. And as they say there up in Richmond Hill, Go Wildcats.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it. Great job so far this year.
Thank you.
Just, you can see he's a humble kid. He's a hard worker. And you know what? I want you guys to tell me who deserves being the Weatherton Chiropractic Clinic Athlete of the Week. It doesn't have to be a football player. We got softball players. We got volleyball players. We got cross-country runners. Hey, help me out. Like I said, my phone is on 24/7 a day, 24/7 a day. Okay? Text me. Email me. Let's get these kids some recognition. And I know my next guy does a great job with the Georgia Public Broadcasting Sports Department, his good buddy Hannah. I mean, let's get this kid a scholarship. That's what it's all about. Let's get these kids exposure. But it's always a lot of fun having the Weatherton Chiropractic Clinic Athlete of the Week this week from Richmond Hill High School, Nick Bliss. Next up, and I've coined him because he's taken the role as the voice of Georgia high school football. You see him every Friday night with the Friday night game of the week with Georgia Public Broadcasting. He does a great job. He also toils in so many other things, sports and hopscotch and tiddlywinks, but he knows what he's talking about. Joining me next, right here on the Karl DeMasi Sports Report, is no other than Georgia Public Broadcasting sports guru, John Nelson. Be back in 3 minutes. Got to thank the sponsor. He knows the deal. Going to talk some high school football. And probably some Atlanta United soccer, too. All the time. That's Coach's Corner in Thunderbolt, Georgia. Because Coach's Corner has been voted the best in Savannah for over 20 years running. It's no wonder why. There's always sports, live music in the sound garden, and delicious and abundance of pub food. No matter what the season, there's always a reason to check out Coach's Corner. Pick your favorite sport, pick your favorite team, and pick your favorite TV because Coach's is your place to be. Coach's Corner has been Savannah strong since 1991 and is always open for dining service for lunch and dinner. Remember, Coach's Corner still has takeout service. Join John Henderson and the crew for the best burgers, wings, and now pizza too. You can place your order by calling Coach's Corner at 912-352-2933. That's right, remember that number, 912-352-2933. So make your next pit stop at Coach's Corner. And as always, make it a night to remember at Coach's. At Calvary Day School, we want our students to be fully equipped and on the cutting edge of academics, making a difference in our world. Your child will grow academically, physically, socially, and spiritually. At Calvary, it is so good to say we are one school with one mission and one vision: faith, academics, excellence, and building champions through Christ. Calvary Day School would consider it a privilege to meet with your family personally. Call Philip Lee, Director of Admissions, at 351-2299. That's 351-2299.
For over half a century, it comes in uniforms, sporting goods, or trophies, Thompson's got you covered. From cleats to caps and best prices on the biggest brands, Under Armour, Adidas, and more. From baseball to soccer, volleyball to softball, and yes, football too. Every season starts at Thompson Sports Shop. From cutting and equipped at Thompson Sports Shop's new location, 6606 Abercorn Street, Suite 102 in Savannah. Open Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and seasonal on Saturdays. At locally owned Thompson Sporting Goods and Trophies, come see where everyone is a winner.
You still want some real New York Italian food? Bada bing, bada boom. Rocky's New York Deli and Italian Catering is open at 7630 Skidaway Road, Tuesday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., serving breakfast and lunch right here in Savannah, Georgia. Rocky's New York Deli and Italian Catering has been serving the public for over 3 years. Now, if you want Rocky's New York Deli and Italian Catering goods delivered to your door, go online to SavannahTakeout.com or DoorDash.com, or just pick up the phone and call 912-354-2914. That's right, 912-354-2914. Kabish, and remember, we ain't New York style. We are New York at Rocky's New York Deli and Italian.
Weatherton Chiropractic Clinic. Your back hurts, another body part hurts all the time. It makes you mad. The pain drives you crazy. You just want to pick something up and throw it across the room. If you can, at the Weatherton Chiropractic Clinic, you get complete chiropractic care and pain relief to help you move better, have a less painful life, and of course, achieve a healthier lifestyle. The Weatherton Chiropractic Clinic is now located at 2 locations in Savannah, Georgia, at 329 Eisenhower Drive and in Pooler at 114 Canal Street, Suite 603. So visit Dr. Bart Weatherington at the Weatherington Chiropractic Clinic for all your chiropractic needs.
And remember, today's show is brought to you by The Coach's Corner Sports Network, all part of that great team that happens to run our shows at Coach's Corner. And Coach's Corner has sponsored my show since April 1st of 2020. You know, when I left the Ray Didio, I had to find a place to go, and I figured, why not? Let's do it in a sports bar, because sports restaurant, sports establishment, okay? Because they already had Rubbin' and Grubbin', the OG, Lawrence Bennett. So why not join the crew? And it's been a lot of fun. And I know it's on the internet, but you know what? Who cares? I'm having fun. I'm a novice. I love talking sports. And there's no better guy than to talk sports with than this guy. He's joining me on the Coach's Corner hot seat, the man himself, the sports guru, or the voice of Georgia high school football, John, one cute sports guy, Nelson. What's up, buddy?
Morning, Coach.
Another, you know, we haven't done this since the beginning of the season back in July. And just so you know, if you look at my tweet or you look on Facebook, my lineup, John Nelson has a theory.
Oh.
He's been around Georgia high school sports for a long time. There's 3 parts to a football season.
3.
Okay. Go ahead. You can tell them what the 3 are. Go ahead.
No. It's your
Okay.
story.
We have the preseason, the non-region games. Then we have the region games. And then the icing on the cake, we have the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So those are 3 stories. We're roughly almost all out of season number 1, or part number 1. But I'm telling you right now, it's been a lot of fun watching this. You got some good games. And, you know, on national TV last night, big guy, ESPN2, we had Cedar Grove against Colquitt, which is pretty impressive that little old Georgia, not little old Georgia, but Georgia is getting national recognition. And this guy's been doing it for a long time.
Well, I mean, this is if you go by Jeff Fisher's numbers, and Jeff does a great job at High School Football America. Jeff came up with he always does the numbers every year of student athletes that go from the sport of football to the next level. And Georgia, for the first time last year, was number 3 in the country for folks that got sent to the next level to play college football. So I think it was California, Florida. I think it was California, Texas, Georgia. I think that was the order. And so when you have all of these entities that want to, you know, that they have national games. I think the night before they did Chaminade Madonna and Miami Central on a Thursday night. And then they decided to come crashing in and do Colquitt and Cedar Grove. I mean, they're looking at it from the perspective of those, the 4 letters, 300 top prospects. You know, you get a guy like Nico Fan. You see what Cedar Grove is up to with all of their talent. So, this is an attractive place to do national games. They're going to come back in the state and do Buford at Mill Creek in short order. So, nice. No, I mean, it is a very attractive place to do games, and you can't blame a national entity for coming in and wanting to showcase it.
Well, you know, there were 2 big games down here in the southeast part, or you say in the eastern front of the state.
Eastern frontier, yeah.
Right. So, you know, we had, of course, Calvary, Savannah Christian, and then we had Effingham, South Effingham. And, John, this is coming from a guy that coached football up in New York on Long Island. Games were on Saturday nights because we didn't have played games on Friday nights. Now the school that I coached of has license, so they play on Friday nights. But we would get 500, 1,000 people. But I'm telling you, when I came down here and I went to Jenkins against Cairo and saw how many kids or how many fans were at Cairo, and then when I worked at Effingham to see 10,000 people at a high school game, there's nothing like high school football, and high school football rivalries down here in the South are really outrageous.
Oh, absolutely. And that's the fun part of it all. I mean, it was a big night for Calvary Day last night for when it comes to school history, getting a number win that adds that ends in zeros. and no, when you have these rivalries, I mean, you go down to Richmond Hill now with them being in Region 1-7A, and they're going to be having some really big home games this year in their sprint in season 2. And you go to a place, I mean, you mentioned the battling Effinghams, and you go down to a place like Waycross, and you go to a game at Ware County. You go down to last night, you had the Battle of Glen, the Battle of Brunswick. You had Glen Academy and Brunswick going at it. And, of course,
I forgot about that one.
Regulation did no good for that one before that one was settled. So you've got Red School, Blue School in Brunswick. You've got Ware County down in Waycross. You've got the battling Effinghams. You've got what goes on there in Chatham County with all of the rivalries that are attached there. So no, it's fun to see 9 billion people show up on a Friday night and see a rivalry game. That's the best part of it, and in 2 weeks down in South Georgia, you've got the Wintersville Classic with Valdosta and Lowndes, and you're going to have, I think this is at Bazemore Hiders. So if I'm not mistaken, you're going to have like 12 to 15,000 people there. The most important person in all of these games is the fire marshal. So if you don't know the fire marshal, get to know this gentleman for your favorite rivalry, because that individual is going to be the one to determine how many folks actually get in the door and from which side more folks get in the door, maybe, than the other folks.
You talk about Valdosta. I mean, growing up in New York, I spent the first part of my life in New York coaching high school football in Long Island, but we knew about Valdosta. And if you would have told me,
now hang on. I always thought it was one word. You separated. I guess that's your time here in Georgia where you've now separated it. I always thought it was one word. I always thought it was Long Island.
It's Long Island, yeah.
But you spread it out. You said Long Island. You literally you took the word spreader and you went like that.
All right.
You've spent too much time down here, because I always grew up thinking it was Long Island, and you sit there and you go, yeah, Long Island. You've separated it now. You're a native, Coach.
Well, I'm a Southern Yankee. That's what it comes down to. I'm not going home.
Is that a term? A Southern Yankee?
Yeah. I could consider myself a Southern Yankee because this is home. I was a Yankee. Okay, you want to?
I thought you were going to say that meant you were from Staten Island.
No, that's Tim Guidera.
Okay.
I'm from Long Island, okay? So, but you got me going here now, okay? Anyway.
That never happens when
my quick Valdosta story was I never thought I would wind up coaching and following a team like Valdosta when I went down there to play in the state playoffs when I had my little stint at Groves High School. Mm-hmm. And, of course, we brought our little 200, 300, 400, 500 heads. But when you looked across the stadium, mm-hmm. there wasn't a seat to be found. And, it's just a Hyder Stadium, whatever they call it. It's just a great place to play.
Yeah.
Right. And then my son played football there. So it's just a great place to play. All right, quickly, because I know you got things to do. I got things to do. The wife's looking at me like, we got things to do, family. All right. So
you're on the clock, brother.
I'm on the clock. All right. So let's stay here down in the eastern frontier of the state.
Sure.
Among Benedictine, Calvary, and Savannah Christian, which team do you think has the best chance now going into season number 2 to make it to season number 3, and how deep do you think they're going to go?
Well, the answer is yes. and they all do. I mean, if you look at what Benedictine does, and we always talk about the challenges of season number 1, you're chasing after that 1 seed. You want to have as many home games as humanly possible. And the way that we have, the way that we've structured our rankings, I mean, right now, until further notice, it's Benedictine at number 1 in my rankings when I fill out my form every single week. And then, Calvary Day right there, they're right there at number 2. Savannah Christian, obviously a top 5 team as well, depending on the math here at GPB. But the answer you gave me the 3, and my answer is yes. So if everything holds the way that we would anticipate, without any kind of a surprise, you're looking at 3 teams that should be making runs in season 3, deep in season 3. And I know that each one of those coaches is going to be chasing after the idea of playing in the last game of the year. So you gave me 3, and my answer is yes.
Nice. And, talking about it, just watching, because, like I said, I'm with family, so I couldn't go to the Calvary game last night, which I've been part of since 2004. Both, one son went to Christian, one son went to Calvary, but I got to watch it on the internet, so I can't complain.
Okay. All right.
But the players on the field, and I mean, you're involved in this now. You do a special with kids that you want to help them get recruited. Mm-hmm. Just hearing about Griffin being a number 1 recruit and what's his name? I can't think of the big guy. Mathis getting an offer from Alabama yesterday. I mean, you've been doing this a lot longer than me. I mean, I've been a teacher, coach. You've been in this broadcasting field. I can't believe how many amount of kids now are getting so many big time offers in the eastern frontier all over the state.
But the thing is that the world is not as big and it's not as separated as it was.
Well, used to be, you're right.
When we both started in this, with you as a coach and me as the long-haired, intrepid TV reporter. When I had more hair in the back than I did in the front.
Did you have a mullet like me?
Oh, absolutely. And I wanted to be, when I started out, I wanted to kind of break the mold and be a reporter that had the longest TV hair possible. I mean, obviously you'd stop it about right here,
Right.
but I wanted to make sure that, that
it flowed.
That the lettuce was absolutely perfect. And for a while it was really long and it was right here. But then, gravity took over and Mother Nature took over. And so it is what it is today. But no, the world is not as separated as it is today. There's Huddle, there's all of the recruiting services, there's On3, there's 24/7. Everyone's monitoring everybody else. You're looking at videos, you're going to games because of how social media is and because of how new media is, YouTube and what have you, with YouTube channels and streaming and such. The world is a lot smaller. And because of that, you could be in the MAC and you could be looking at folks that are here in the state of Georgia, and you'll see come signing day, you will see folks going to the B1G. You'll see folks going to the MAC. You'll see folks going to what's left of I'm just going to call it the Tupac. Well, the two schools that are left in the pack who basically have told everybody else, you get back here right this minute, get back in this house. But no, the world's a lot smaller. And so communication can be what it is. You can talk to a prospective student athlete like you and I are talking right now. So when you see somebody from a large SEC school talking to somebody there in the Eastern Frontier, in the old days, it used to be barnstorming tours and flying and putting a lot of miles on an old Lincoln Town car. Now it's Zooms and these kinds of conversations and then flying them in on a visit. So no, it does not surprise, and it should not surprise, that regardless of you're talking Power 5 or Group of 5, D1, FCS, I was about to call it 1AA and date myself, 1AA, D2, D3, NAIA, all of these schools know where to look because the world is a lot smaller today.
Yeah, it is. So if you're just tuning in, it's the Karl DeMasi Sports Report right here on the internet's Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. And of course, I'm talking to the man himself, John Nelson, from, as he put it, GPB Sports. So he does a great job. And to lead from going from that question to the next question, tell everybody about your little show about helping these kids get recruited, your little segment.
It's a segment that we call Make That Kid an Offer. And what we did in the preseason is when we caught up with the coaches down there on the coast that were a part of our Zoomapalooza, where we ended up catching up, I think, with through Zoom and media days and such. I think we were like in the low 70s when it came to number of coaches that we caught up with a number of programs. And that's still only like 17% of the entire state. We catch up with 70 coaches and you're still at like 17%.
Yep.
What we do is we like to wrap up the interview by discussing with these coaches, is there a student athlete that for whatever reason is too whatever? And I'll put that in quotes. They're too small. They're, they're not
they're not fast enough. They don't run a 4.340.
They're not fast enough. Their grades aren't,
good enough.
But for whatever reason, they're too whatever. And they're not getting the number of looks that a coach believes they should get, or they're not getting any looks at all. And so Hannah and I, when we have our conversations with coaches, and all of these conversations that we've had with coaches there in the Eastern Frontier, they're on our YouTube channel. We always ask the coaches, is there someone that would qualify for Make That Kid an Offer? And we do it during the season too, because, stats update and everything. And folks can send emails to gpbsports@gpb.org and let us know about Make That Kid an Offer. It was just something where we kind of got tired of seeing a lot of kids that we got to focus on Friday nights and on Monday mornings and all the way through the week, sit there and go, these are great kids. They need to be looked at. What kind of a vehicle can we do so the state of Georgia can continue to be emphasized as one of the top 3 in the country? And so that's where we came up with Make That Kid an Offer.
Nice. And it's a really a great service to these kids. Now, before we get into my final question, I got something which I never asked you before. You're the big man on the sideline, right? You're the sideline reporter every Friday night?
Yeah, a big man on the sideline. I don't know if the boss will let you say that, but, the second I walk in this place, it's like, oh, there's the laundry. There's the garbage. Yeah, that's the big man.
All right. I asked the kids, what is John Nelson's Pre-game superstitions when he goes into doing games. Does he eat the same food? Does he wear the same clothes? Does he pack his raincoat? Does he make sure he's got the same socks going? What's your superstitions going into the game there?
I don't call them superstitions. I call them rituals. I'm ritualistic. I'm not superstitious. I'm not even a little stitious. I probably come as close to wearing the same outfit as possible. I mean, it's the black golf shirt, the black slacks, and the Merrill boots, because we all know these days with turf, you get those pieces of sawdust, or you get the tires in your shoes, and you want to have something that's got ankle support, so it's a little tough to get the stuff in there. I always try to eat early, and I mean early, like 1:30, 2 o'clock, because I don't want to eat closer to game time, because you don't want to get weighed down, because if you're getting all the steps and everything. So I probably eat a lot earlier than everybody else on the crew, wear as close to the same number of clothes as possible. And I always overpack. I mean, you could have something happen. You could spill something on a black golf shirt and it would show. So I always end up packing more than one golf shirt. If there's the possibility of any kind of rain, I've got my rain gear packed. I've got my big blazer. I mean, I've got my big raincoat packed, multiple golf shirts, multiple undershirts. So yeah, I'm basically packing like I'm going on a week's vacation to the beach. I'm overpacking. I eat way early. And then by the time I get home, I mean, because I'm so tired, I probably can't fall asleep until after the West Coast games. And that's like 1:30 in the morning. So I'll come home and I'll try and track down a late game on the West Coast so I can keep an eye on stuff there. So eating early, overpacking, wearing as close to the same stuff every week.
I can understand that. And stay away from the carbonated beverage, because you don't want to burp a lot.
Oh, nah, they don't care about that.
All right, just so you know, we have people watching. They can make a comment. Dennis Kessler, big Calvary Day School fan. Good morning, Mr. John Nelson. You do a great job. You're a great guy. Have a great day.
Thank you, Dennis. Appreciate it very much.
So there are people that watch the show, so that's a good thing.
Absolutely.
All right, last question.
Sure.
Okay, we're going to have reclassification again, and I know you and I have talked about football is okay because it's Friday night or Saturday, but we talked about the little sport, not the little sports, the other sports.
Yeah, non-revenue, yeah.
Non-revenue sports, okay? Even though basketball makes a lot of money here in Chatham County, okay? How do you foresee the changes affecting the landscape of what's been going on here the last couple of years?
Well, I mean, obviously, I think we're going to have one less A, which is desperately needed. We need one less A, first and foremost. Because I think when you get into the postseason, if you look at it from a competition standpoint, you have too many teams chasing after games. You have too many mini regions, MINI. You've got the one in Class A that only has 3 teams. You've got the one in AAA that has only 4 teams, and it's not the only one. There's another one in the Mountain region in Single A that has 4 teams. You can't have that. So you can't have teams chasing after 7 or 8 non-region games. And I'm hoping that geographically we can come up with things where you end up with regions that have at least 5 on the low side, where you have 4 games and you're chasing just more than half of your schedule. From a non-revenue sports perspective, I think what I would, and a lot of schools and regions are doing this now, especially in the minis, is what they're coming together to a central point and having like round robin competition and things like that to take care of region games in chunks. And so that way, just as an example, right now, Region 17A is basically from Richmond Hill to Moultrie. That is, as our dear friend Tommy Palmer used to say, a pack a lunch, a dinner, and a midnight snack trip. You can't have that for a non-revenue sport. So if you met at a midpoint, even if it was Lakeland or something like that in Lanier County, that way you're gathering folks at a midpoint. It's not as bad when it comes to travel, and you're not having to worry about having student athletes on yellow hounds late at night after traveling from one end of the state to the other. So I'm hoping that we see a lot of hubs when it comes to midpoints and competitions and things like that, to take care of the non-region, the non-revenue sports when it comes to things like that. That to me is the biggest key in all of this, making sure that the travel for the student athlete isn't going from one end of the world to the other. If you've got hubs to have competitions, then that way you're taking a lot of that out. They can get home safely, those kinds of things. and you come up with the ways to compete. So I think that's the biggest thing, is making sure that you come up with competitive hubs to take care of your region games, so you're not traveling to both hither and yon. And I think that they're both are going to be in 7A next year.
Wow. All right. And, it definitely is, as an educator first, everybody thinks that, since I teach health and PE, that I roll the ball out every day and that's it. No, I'm an educator. I've been a teacher for 37 years, a coach for 42 years. And you know what? It's called student athlete. You have to take care of the student first.
It's not athlete student.
Right. So, and what you just said makes, hits the nail right on the head. So I know you got things to do. I got things to do. We got to get out of here. I appreciate you coming on. And I guess next time we'll talk, hopefully it will be after you do your bracketology.
Well, but we got season 3 will be bracketology, and that'll be here before we know it. Really looking forward to seeing where the second season takes us and what surprises it holds. But yeah, you know where I live. I live here in Office HD, so just reach out anytime, my friend.
All right. Anything special going on? And besides the football, like the Atlanta United, you got things coming up?
Yeah. Soccer down here has a remote from 1 to 2, and that's at the Reverb Hotel by Hard Rock right across the street. So from 1 to 2, it's there. And then I dive into Mercedes-Benz starting there. I tape all of my stuff. Kick is at 7:39 tonight. Must-win game against CF Montreal. Montreal's not been very good on the road this year. Atlanta United, if they win, they're in the postseason. And then they can continue to take care of business that way. But, yeah, 7:39 on Apple TV for those of you who subscribe or listen to my dear friends Mike Conti and Jason Longshore, 92.9 The Game on the Odyssey app.
You don't care what type of football it is, right?
FUT or FOOT, does not matter, my friend. It all comes together. I've got 4 calendars trying to keep me straight.
All right, have a good one. Keep Patty happy. I know she's got Auburn, Georgia next week.
Well, she's got Auburn and the Quitter today at noon. So she's packing up and she's getting ready to go and hang out with a bunch of her alums and alumnus. So she's getting ready for a noon kick in College Station.
And I know you're happy about whoa.
We got a tough one against Clemson today, brother. I'm not so sure.
I think it's a piece of cake for the Seminoles this year.
I would steadfastly disagree. Of course, I'm the alum in this conversation. Be well, my friend. We'll catch up soon.
See ya. Talk to you. Bye.
Yeah, man.
Once again, he does a great job. Like I said, it's not just high school football. It's pro soccer, and he knows what he's talking about. Appreciate him coming on. And once again, all right, I got to wrap this up. I got to get out of here. I got to get into that last segment. Got to thank my sponsors one more time. And once again, the man's tuning in. My man, the OG of the Coach's Corner Sports Network, the man that came up with the idea of this whole kit and caboodle, Lawrence Bennett checking in. Love you, brother. Can't wait to see you up there on that teepee. All right, that's right. Coach's Corner, the teepee's up. We'll talk about what's in the sound garden tonight. I'll get out of here quick. No videos because I didn't have time to do it this week because, dealing with family situations and going places and doing things. So I'm just going to wrap it up quick. Be back in 3 minutes to wrap it up, tie it up, put it to bed. You're watching the Karl DeMasi Sports Report right here on the Coach's Corner Sports Network. All the time. That's Coach's Corner in Thunderbolt, Georgia. Because Coach's Corner has been voted the best in Savannah for over 20 years running. It's no wonder why there's always sports, live music in the sound garden, and delicious and abundance of pub food. No matter what the season, there's always a reason to check out Coach's Corner. Pick your favorite sport, pick your favorite team, and pick your favorite TV because Coach's is your place to be. Coach's Corner has been Savannah strong since 1991 and is always open for dine-in service for lunch and dinner. Remember, Coach's Corner still has takeout service. Join John Henderson and the crew for the best burgers, wings, and now pizza too. You can place your order by calling Coach's Corner at 912-352-2933. That's right. Remember that number, 912-352-2933. So make your next pit stop at Coach's Corner. And as always, make it a night to remember at Coach's. At Calvary Day School, we want our students to be fully equipped and on the cutting edge of academics, making a difference in our world. Your child will grow academically, physically, socially, and spiritually. At Calvary, it is so good to say we are one school with one mission and one vision. Faith, academics, excellence, and building champions through Christ. Calvary Day School would consider it a privilege to meet with your family personally. Call Philip Lee, Director of Admissions at 351-2299. That's 351-2299.
For over half a century, it comes in uniforms, sporting goods, or trophies, Thompson's got you covered. From cleats to caps and the best prices on the biggest brands, Under Armour, Adidas, and more. From baseball to soccer, volleyball to softball, and yes, football too. Every season starts at Thompson Sports Shop. From cutting it equipped at Thompson Sports Shop's new location, 6606 Abercorn Street, Suite 102 in Savannah. Open Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and seasonal on Saturdays. At locally owned Thompson Sporting Goods and Trophies, come see where everyone is a winner.
You still want some real New York Italian food? Bada bing, bada boom. Rocky's New York Deli and Italian Catering is open at 7630 Skidaway Road, Tuesday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., serving breakfast and lunch right here in Savannah, Georgia. Rocky's New York Deli and Italian Catering has been serving the public for over 3 years. Now, if you want Rocky's New York Deli and Italian Catering goods delivered to your door, go online to SavannahTakeout.com or DoorDash.com, or just pick up the phone and call 912-354-2914. That's right, 912-354-2914. Kabish, and remember, we ain't New York style. We are New York at Rocky's New York Deli and Italian.
Weatherington Chiropractic Clinic. Your back hurts, another body part hurts all the time. It makes you mad. The pain drives you crazy. You just want to pick something up and throw it across the room. If you can, at the Weatherton Chiropractic Clinic, you get complete chiropractic care and pain relief to help you move better, have a less painful life, and of course, achieve a healthier lifestyle. The Weatherton Chiropractic Clinic is now located at 2 locations in Savannah, Georgia, at 329 Eisenhower Drive and in Pooler at 114 Canal Street, Suite 603. So visit Dr. Bart Weatherington at the Weatherington Chiropractic Clinic for all your chiropractic needs.
And remember, today's show is brought to you by Coach's Corner, right here on the Coach's Corner Sports Network. Hey, it's the end of the show. Usually I take 3 steps out the door. I get 3 videos I've watched over the week, and I show it to you, but I don't have much time because I'm already over my time limit. The wife runs the family. I got to get out of here, got to do some family events. So I appreciate you tuning in. I got to thank, of course, Tim Guidera from Morning Break Show. New crib in the Riverside plant, whatever they call it, the Riverside Hotel, whatever it's over down there. Okay, and I live in Savannah, and I can't even pronounce it right. Then, of course, I got to thank Nick Bliss from Richmond Hill High School, Wildcat football. Kids having an unbelievable season as the Weatherington Chiropractic Clinic Athlete of the Week. And then from GPB, Georgia Public Broadcasting Sports Department, the voice of high school football here in Georgia, and, of course, the guru of many sports, John Nelson. Just want to touch on Karl's editorial really quick. Okay. And we saw what happened with Colorado last week. They came back, big win late in the game. Okay. They got a tough one today against Oregon. But the hit on Travis Hunter, the wide receiver, all-world player, 2-player football team, it's football. Okay. And for people to make death threats to this cornerback is unbelievable. I don't know what sports is coming to. We have fights at high school football games. We have fights in the stands with parents. We have parents in the stands, fans in the stands yelling at the coaching staff. What happened? What happened to our society? It's a game. Sports help us, I guess, go away from what's going on in our lives, the stressful stuff, the world news. But sometimes it just gets it's carried away. I'm tired of watching the fights. I'm tired of watching the fights in the stands. I'm tired of hearing the negativity in the stands. For 42 years, I was a high school coach. This will be the first year I'm not coaching any high school sports. Well, I'm not saying never. I might be doing something. I never heard the people in the stands until I went in the stands. And it's very discouraging. Very discouraging. You can't go to a game. I know you pay your money. You pay for your ticket. You should have but when you start berating the coaches, the kids, it's ridiculous. You think a kid really wanted to hold somebody on a play? You think a kid really wanted to drop a ball? You think the kid really wanted to swing at a pitch and miss? I don't know what's going on in today's society. It's just a crazy world we live in. And then this kid makes a hit, clean hit. I'm sorry that happened to him. But football, it's the nature of the beast. It's always been that way. Yes, I agree. They're trying to curtail on the injuries. They're trying to curtail on, the serious stuff. But it happens. And this young man's getting death threats. Then we have people in the stands. I mean, Buffalo, Miami, they get into the brawl and the guy dies. This is not what sports is all about. Sports is supposed to help us relieve our tension in our life. It's supposed to be enjoyment and entertainment. But sometimes it just goes overboard. It goes overboard. And society, I mean, it's a crazy place to live now. I never thought it would be like this. But, history repeats itself. So on that note, that's my editorial. Let's just go enjoy the game. Let's watch the game. Let's support our school, support our coaches, support our kids, support our professional teams. It just gets uglier and uglier and uglier. I guess because I've been around a long time. That's why I'm the OG. But I hope you enjoyed the show. I already thanked my guests. Remember, it always flies by. Lawrence, 125. I didn't think I was going to get this far, but I'm in a garage. Family's in the house, so I couldn't do it in the house. Couldn't get the coach's corner, but I'll be back there next week. So remember, every Saturday morning from 9 till whenever, right here on the Coach's Corner Sports Network, you can listen to me, the coach, novice, just having a lot of fun. You got to love it, talking about Savannah area sports. The Karl DeMasi Sports Report, like I say every week, enjoy the rest of the weekend, whatever you're doing today or tomorrow, hit it at the park. And until we talk to each other or see each other next week, may it be your best week ever. Say a prayer for everybody in the Ukraine, in this crazy world we live in. We really need it. God bless everybody. I'll talk to you next week. It's time to go hang out and visit the family. You got to love it. And plus, I got to go watch my boy, on the internets. Wayne State, home football game. Talk to you later. God bless.